The Maldives, which promotes itself as an Indian Ocean tourist heaven, is currently experiencing a form of political hell. Street protests, sporadic violence and parliamentary chaos all followed the resignation earlier this year of President Mohamed Nasheed in what he claims was a de facto coup. My guest today is the current Maldives President, Mohamed Waheed, who says his goal is to unify the nation. But how can he when he stands accused of undermining Maldivian democracy? President Mohamed Waheed in the Maldivian capital, Mali, welcome to Hard Talk. You said just the other day that things had changed for the better in your country. Given that we see protests on the streets, we see a bitterly divided country, and we see allegations that you are president because of a coup d'etat in the Maldives, I'm struggling to see how things are better inside your country. Please explain.
We are hoping things will be better. We have an opportunity now to put democracy back on track and to do what is necessary to build democratic institutions in the country. We embarked on a democratic path many years ago, leading to the multi-party elections in 2008. But since then, we have seen progressively undermining of our constitution and rule of law in the last 3 years. And what has led to this situation is partly the challenges that we have faced for democracy. So now it is a time, it is an opportunity for all political parties to reflect once again and to try to put democracy back on track. I am working with all political parties, and I have invited Mr. Nasheed's party also to join and to work together. I have now put together a multi-party cabinet. I have invited MDP, which is Mr. Nasheed's party, also to join. So far he hasn't responded. But the kind of divisions that have been caused in Maldives politically have to be overcome through dialogue and not through violence on the street.
Yes, well, so, let's address some of these points, if we may. You talk about legitimacy, and you say that your country was deviating from the path of democracy over the last few years, 3 years, I think you said. Let me just quote to you some words given to the UN General Assembly last September. Quote, "My country, the Maldives, was a harbinger of the Arab awakening. I can report without exaggeration that Maldivians enjoy more freedom today than at any other point in their history." Do you know who said that just a few months ago?
I probably said it.
Yeah, you said
well.
it. You said it. Now, how does that square?
Yes,
how does that square with you telling me that under President Nasheed the country was deviating from the democratic path?
I'll give you an example. One of the basic freedoms that we enjoy in Maldives is the freedom from arbitrary arrest and the freedom from fear. That's one of the biggest achievements in democracy. But what you have seen in Maldives in last few months and so on is an eroding of those freedoms and leading to, as you very well know, the military being ordered to take a serving judge from his home, from his bed, and disappearing. And this is the kind of incidents that completely undermines our certainty in that we have some sense of assurance that we have freedom from arbitrary arrest and disappearance.
And you, hang on, you feel, obviously, former President Nasheed argues about the case of this Chief Justice from the Criminal Court, but even if we accept what you just said about his arbitrary detention, you think that is justification for a coup d'etat, do you?
There was no coup in Maldives. There was a resignation by the president for whatever reasons, and clearly there are questions about the circumstances, and I have now set up an independent inquiry to look into it. But our constitution is very similar to the United States Constitution. For whatever reason, when the president is unable to continue, either through resignation or any other means, then the serving vice president is required under the constitution to swear in. And so my swearing in is perfectly legitimate. It was on the request of the Speaker of the Parliament and the oath of office performed by the Chief Justice of the country. So, irrespective of what happened prior to my taking of office, my presidency is according to the Constitution, and I'm required to perform my duties and take the country forward.
Well, let me quote to you, if I may, the words of your own brother, Naushad Waheed, who served as a senior diplomat in the Maldivian High Commission here in London. He says that you, and he says he loves you, but he says you seized power in an illegal coup, which was both immoral and illegal. The words of your own brother.
I love my brother too, but his loyalty is clearly with Mr. Nasheed. He was appointed there by Mr. Nasheed, so I can understand his sentiments, but he was very far away from the situation here. And if you also come to Maldives and see for yourself what's happening here, you will understand that there are maybe many reasons, many explanations to what happened here, including the fact that President Nasheed just simply lost it, and he was unable to control the situation.
But with all due respect, when you say your brother wasn't there, neither were you, frankly, in the room when, as former President Nasheed has described it to me, he had 3 military officers in front of him, he had a dozen and more military officers behind him, all of them delivering a message saying, if you do not resign now, we will resort to arms within 1 hour. That amounts to a coup d'etat, and you, by taking the job as president in his place, have been a collaborator in that.
The President Nasheed should have, he resigned in front of live television, and he had his cabinet behind him. He should have indicated, he should have said, I'm sorry, I'm being forced to resign. He could have said that. He didn't. He signed his letter by himself, and if he indicated even indirectly, then we would have gotten the message. I don't think he was forced. Clearly, I wasn't there, and therefore I don't know all the details. But as I said, I have set up an inquiry commission. They'll find out what the real truth was.
That commission will want to know whether it is indeed true, as has been reported in the Maldives, that you had late-night meetings with prominent figures in the opposition directly before the so-called coup d'etat. Is it true?
I have had meetings with many political leaders. As Vice President of the country, it is my responsibility to listen to what other people have to say. This country was going through a very hard time with demonstrations every night. And in the first time when they wanted to see me, I informed Mr. Nasheed that they wanted to come and see me. He paid no attention to it. Demonstrations were going late into night every night, and then when they came to see me, yes, it was kind of late at night, but I met them and I informed the cabinet and Mr. Nasheed about their meeting the next morning.
Is it also true that one of your brothers, Ali, appeared at the state television station, I'm guessing perhaps the very building that you're in now, and came along with security force personnel and informed the managing director at the time that he was taking over, and this all happened actually before former President Nasheed had submitted his formal resignation?
I don't believe that sequence of events were right. He did come, but that was much later on. He is somebody who had worked in the station for many, many years, and he knew the place. Clearly, that day the events were complicated, and so I'm not sure if
you're not sure
had anything.
Right. You're not sure.
I'm
it just
not sure
seems a little odd to me, given there's so many allegations are swilling around your country. Many of the critics of what you have done in recent weeks suggesting that you were party to this conspiracy, this coup d'etat. It surprises me you're not sure, and I guess you're going to have to explain to the investigating committee exactly what you knew and when you knew it. Question is, are you prepared to have an outsider, somebody from outside the Maldives,